Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today during this webinar. We're going to share with you a little bit about how behavior analytics can really elevate your CX. When I say CX here, it's a digital customer experience, focusing on the citizen experience on the digital channel and how you can actually elevate the services that you provide to the citizens. Nice. Specifically focusing on the mandates from the federal government coming from the Executive Order 14058, the President's Management Agenda, PMA, and also the 21st Century Integrated Digital Experience Act idea. So today, my name is Eric Tran. I'm the global go-to-market leader for HCL Software, specifically over behavior analytics. And I've been in this sector for about 12 years now. Joining me will be my colleague, Tony Stankowski. He's really the behavior analytics expert, and he's certainly been in this business for about 12 years, helping enterprise customers truly understanding and getting value out of the behavior analytics solution. Okay. So I want to touch on at the high level, certainly there's a lot of focus on customer experience from the government standpoint. Since the pandemic, as you know, there's a huge shift from the physical interaction to the online interaction. Lots of processes, lots of applications, lots of engagement, citizen engagement have been shifted to the digital channel, and thus really driving the needs and the requirements in terms of more focus around that, right? And the challenge has always been this, right? So I want you to step back and think through this. If you have a physical office where the citizen, your customer actually walking in and conducting a transaction, such as applying for a business license, signing up for benefits, or making sure they are compliant with a certain requirements, providing paperwork or anything like that. You as a branch manager, office manager, you can observe their body language, their facial expression, and their tone of voice to understand if that person had a good experience or not good experience, right? But now on the digital channel, how would you know? How would you know if that uh, interaction went smoothly or not until it's too late? Meaning, as someone so frustrated that they actually pick up the phone and call into the call center, or just abandon or stop the process altogether, and there's just delay any benefits that they can get from the digital channel. How would you know? So that is the challenge. Behavior analytics can actually surface the digital body language. Now, this is a really cool thing, right? So if you think about it, when you are engaging with a website, you buying things on Amazon, or you searching on Google or whatever it is, you actually leaving a lot of behavior clues, and a lot of the current technologies actually completely miss those clues. We actually, behavior analytics actually able to pick up those clues. Why is that important? It's important because then you understand where people struggle, so you can actually improve the services that you provide to them, and also just improve the customer satisfaction overall in terms of how well they see the perceive the value that they get from the services that you're providing. Okay. Now, the very next question I get asked all the time is that, what do you mean by digital body language? So there's this part in this slide, but it's a little bit more technical. What that means is that we capture all the nuances of all the interaction on your site, meaning that beyond just where people click, but it's where people actually hovering, the way they resize the screen, and all the little nuances around engaging with the digital properties. Right? So that's really is the key, is that this is based on behavior patterns that the citizen or your customers are actually exhibiting on your digital properties. Now, going a little bit deeper, why is it that understanding digital behavior so difficult? It's difficult because the current technology stack, there's a huge blind spot. And let me explain that blind spot. Normally, you would have web analytics like Adobe Analytics or Google Analytics. That really gives you the what is going on in your digital properties, right? Obviously, on the flip side, the IT side, there's application performance management tools that give all the details, all the data regarding how well the infrastructure is operating, right? And the third bubble underneath that is the obviously when someone call into the call center, there's a CRM solution that capturing all the interaction. But the blind spot is why is it someone started the application process, went through halfway, fill out a lot of information, and suddenly just abandoned, just stop. The why is what's really unique, right? So we complement all the web analytics solution out there with the why. Okay, so that is the key core tenets for behavior analytics. So I have a use case that I want to go over with you and explain a little bit more. And this is this use case is an airline. So just bear with me, and I think it's would still be very relevant for your space, right? So at this step, this airline is from Hong Kong. At this step is the fourth step in the checkout funnel. What that means is that the customer already decided on the flight, decided on the seat, decided what to purchase during the flight, and they ready to give the airline the money, right? Now they hire a new designer to come in, and this designer, young designer, wanted to streamline the checkout process. So therefore, he consolidated the checkout button to two buttons, Alipay and UnionPay. Right? Now, when they roll this out, the drop off at this step just skyrocketed, right? So abandonment rate. They have no idea why. So they got the teams together, IT, marketing, designer, and the product team in the room. And luckily, they have behavior analytics in place. So they were able to pull this segment out, the people that actually drop off at this stage. And they've noticed they started to replay some session, and they noticed that the a lot of people were clicking on Visa or MasterCard logo. These are non-clickable elements. That means that they did not tag these elements at all with Google Analytics, right? Why is it people clicking on that? So finally, someone figured out in the room that the only people that knows Alipay and UnionPay could also take Visa and MasterCards are the one from mainland China. With me in California trying to go to Hong Kong for business, I would not know that, right? So therefore, I would try to click on Visa and MasterCard logo. So this change literally took 2 hours, right? So they just included Visa and MasterCard logo to the Alipay, literally 2 hours. And here's the ramification. Before the change, the abandonment rate was at about 280,000 Hong Kong dollar a day. After the change, it dropped down to 66,000 Hong Kong dollar a day, right? So this simple issue cost the airlines 200,000 Hong Kong dollar a day, right? So the key here is that this is not an IT problem because there was no error messages. This is not a UI UX problem because the checkout buttons were clearly visible. There's nothing overlapping the buttons at all, right? This is a business process problem. Someone decided that everyone should be aware that Alipay and UnionPay also take Visa and MasterCard. Now pivot a little bit and follow me here. Think about this from your business standpoint. There are issues like this, and without a tool like behavior analytics here, how would you be able to uncover those problems? That's the value that we bring to the table, right? So to summarize, this is about having web analytics is the what is going on your website akin to speed camera, right? So you have to decide there's a problem there, so therefore you tag that intersection with cameras and start capturing it. But what happened when you're speeding pattern changes, how would you know? Or speeding takes place that you don't have camera, how would you know? So behavior analytics is like the next generation satellite. We capture data holistically. So that's the key difference there. Okay. So I want to touch on 5 key things here, and then I'm going to turn it over to Tony very quickly. The first one I touched on already is that behavior analytics is really about the way we capture data. It's not about clickstream, but it's about holistically looking at the behavior of your citizen, of your customers. The second thing is that we're able to link those discrete interaction together to form a behavior patterns. That means that we can actually pull out a segment of customers, a citizen that did A, B, and C, right? So you have a higher level understanding of the behaviors of the customers, of the citizens that come to your site. And the third point is really, really cool. All the tools out there, all the analytic tools out there can tell you what happened on your digital properties. We are the only tool that really can give you what did not happen. So therefore, we actually can pull out the segment of users that did A, B, and not C. So then you can ask the question, why didn't they complete that application that they started? And what else did they do? Why is it that they got halfway through the application process and they went to the search bar? And what search term did they put in? And what was the result coming back? And why is it they didn't take further action and they just abandoned the whole transaction? Okay. The fourth point is also a really cool point. That is, we have the post-capture analytics capabilities. So therefore, you don't have to do anything to change your site at all. That as soon as you uncover a new anomaly, you can start tracking that event immediately right after, right? And the fifth point is we drive value across the entire enterprise, across all the various stakeholder departments. So therefore, everyone have the same view as with the true source, single source of truth around the user behavior. Okay, so with that, I just want to stop here and keep you on this slide, and just want to give you a quick overview of what behavior analytics is, and now I want to turn it over to Tony Stankowski, my colleagues. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Eric. Now to kind of jump into the demo. The one thing I want you to remember around Discover is this is session-based analytics. What we're going to be showing is a JavaScript collection based on this website, where you can see I'm in this website right now. I've placed a query string on the end of here. And as I go through, I'll load on here. I'm going to click under basically this products. I'm going to select a loan, and it's going to kind of push forward. As I come back through here, I'm basically just going to do a search of a text and request of that query string that I put in, just raw text of what happened. This is going through, this is searching the text of all of the sessions that are active on the website, and it will find my session. Once it finds my session, it's going to, I'll show as we get there, but so it found my session. There we go. So it found my session and brought that back. As this session, I have this button here that says replay. And as I say replay, what's happening here is I can do an event-based replay, which is more tailored for call center representatives, or an advanced replay. And what it does is it reaches out to the website and downloads all of the static assets, images, CSS files, and then it renders that screen. So it's going to render the screen similar to exactly how that customer saw it or interacted with the website. So as I start right here, and I'll jump right down here, down at the, I'm going to jump down through here. So I will start from the beginning. Basically have a load, unload. I think I refreshed this a few times before we actually came in here. Let's filter this guy, expanded all. So right here was my most recent session. You're going to see I click right here, and this is what I did on that screen. I basically came through here and I clicked on this button loans, which brought back this new screen. Now, this is my individual session, but I do want to show you something while I'm here. At this point in time, when I say an overlay, I can put together a heat map, and this is showing not just me, but this is an aggregate view of how everyone interacted with this page. All of Discover, everything comes back to kind of the replay. Now, we understand that you cannot replay every single session, but that's where the qualitative analytics of Discover comes in. We use reporting to drill down into what we need to see to be able to bring together what and why. Quantitative and qualitative analytics. Why did people fail? Why did they drop off? Now, this heat map can be actionable where just as I searched, I can bring this right over top of this little element here and click on this button. And this will drill me down into a search to bring to me all the sessions that interacted here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click further down and click on this drop down button. You see products that were highlighted. You see this loans. I'm going to select this overlay again as a heat map. And I want you to notice how this shifted and is showing how people are interacting. So this is the aspect of content placement on your website, showing where content should be performed. And you're noticing that I'm doing this all near real time. And as I say near real time, so now I'm back through here. I'm going to say, hey, let's sign up for a loan. As I sign up for this loan, and you're going to see, I'm going to say, I'm going to click here, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to put my name in here, Tony. I can spell it correct. Now, the way that this works is there's a queue that gets filled up on the client machine, and that queue flushes based on certain interactions. What I'm going to do here is just manually flush that queue to make it slightly faster for me to capture this information and push it forward. Now, as I come back through here, you're going to notice this guy updated and brought back entirely new screens. And I'll just say filter by all pages expanded. We're going to come right down here at the bottom. And where I was before, you saw me go from kind of scroll down on this screen. I guess this is about where I stopped before I said loans. I came to this screen, scrolled down. I basically clicked on this loan sign up button. It opened in a new page. As this page kind of came through here, you can see how I interacted with this first checkbox, second checkbox. You can see they're filling in. You can see my interactions. And I put my name in place. So this is your capability of kind of searching and finding that data. But what you also have to remember is Discover is a big data solution. And when I say it's a big data solution, I'm capturing everything I collect, I interact with kind of on client side. I'm also collecting the rendered HTML on the back end. So this is just all text. But really what we're doing behind the covers is manipulating and processing this text as a big data solution. So as this is coming into that system where I'm able to kind of search and find, if I come under here and I say, and I look at my events, my active events on the site, and how many times these are firing, and I can drill down into these sessions this way. But an event is nothing more than matching a pattern and taking an action. So think of that as text, just free text where I had a query string, AMS28, put that query string in place, searched, found my session. An event could basically either count and say this occurred. An event can collect a numerical value, or an event can collect a string value. What these events are then used for is searching and also reports. And reports come up top and they populate dashboards where a report, an event is added to a report is added to a dashboard. This is an example here of showing me basically my number of visitors, a breakdown by my operating systems that are in place. Aspects of how long someone was on that site from a duration. pages that we're looking at, entry, exit. And all of this reporting is 100% customizable. But I figured I'd kind of come forward here and we'll look at kind of the aspect of I started that application process. And right here, you're seeing something called like a struggle score that occurred, a struggle count. So as we drill into this, so this is an example of a dashboard of collection of reports. Here's an example of an individual report. This report is showing me applications with a struggle. And as I sat here and said, events basically collect a count, manipulate, basically collect a numerical value, collect a string value. Our example here is our event right here is called, it's just a Beaver session count, and it's counting the number of sessions that come through. I'm putting dimensions on top of it to segment this. So we'll remove here and we'll remove here. And you can see this is nothing more than my event, and I can drill down in here. I'm slicing and dicing this up by taking events and populating a dimension used to further refine or break this down. So as we sit here and we say, hey, this is successful application. And as you can see, I have various values, evaluation, no, yes. Then I can sit here and filter these down. Say only include the following values. And I'll say no, yes, select, apply. This is just showing me how many people were successful, not successful. Well, why were they not successful? And if I bring out here this aspect of a struggle, and now you can see we're bucketing kind of these struggle errors and we're filling them into buckets. And I'm going to say exclude, only selected. I'm just going to kind of clean this up a little bit. But think about this of how you can kind of segment, slice and dice your data. And really the concept of Discover is allowing you to make those informed business decisions. So right now, when we're looking at this concept of a struggle on the application, that struggle was at a 404 page, a 500 error page. The aspect of excessive scrolling and scrolling up and down on that page over and over, rage clicking, hammering on that on your mouse, and clicking constantly on that site, validation errors. So I'm putting stuff within those form fields, and those form fields may or may not, I guess, provide the proper information. Sometimes those validation errors are not too useful, and it could be something that an end user doesn't understand. And also you're going to notice, was this application successful? No or yes. So I can segment and kind of drill in and search. So everything is around, let's use these reports to understand insights on the site. But when things fail, how am I able to pivot, drill down in, understand why this did not occur, and then take those actions to rectify or push someone forward. So I wanted to kind of jump through some of these reports out here, and it comes down to, when I'm looking at this, any of this information that's coming through here, first name, last name, middle name, age limitations, emails, we can collect all of this information, or we could collect very little of it, depending on privacy and security aspects. We can kind of adhere to just about anything, any type of requirement needed. PCI, HIPAA, SOX, etc. Now, let me come back through here, and I want to drill down. So we kind of went through like some of these aspects of dashboards that are sitting here from a high level. If I look at this overview, they're exposing revenue streams and looking at kind of these loan amounts. They're able to segment down by age ranges. They're looking at how they're interacting with this site, whether it's desktop or mobile. And keep in mind, this is majority desktop traffic because this is a demo instance. Lost revenue by various age groups. Being able to drill down into a funnel report around this loan application. And everyone is used to seeing various types of funnels in web analytics. We say, oh, I had this many people that started, this many people that completed. Well, what makes Discover unique is I can say how many people went to this estimations and how many people did not go here. So I can isolate the sessions that were a drop off and start analyzing or retargeting or getting into re-engaging. Now, everything I'm showing you today is what's available within this tool. How kind of an admin or power user would kind of interact with searching, manipulating data. But keep in mind that there's potentials to take this data and feed it near real time into other systems for insights or real time decision making. Think about personalization. Think about re-engaging with marketers as they, with I would say parts of your marketing campaign as someone goes through that site and understanding if they're where they are in that marketing campaign funnel, if they're under interest, consideration. Um, Maybe they never made it past kind of that awareness phase in knowing where they are and how to retarget them or actually put uh, personalized content back in front of them, where we use the system to feed real-time personalization engines such as HCL and Unica Interact, or we actually feed customer data platforms and other aspects too, because we're processing this data so quickly. Now, everything we've sat here and we've talked about kind of this aspect of events and drilling down into reports, and then from reports, I can click on here, drill down, and executes a search. This is what all of our reporting is going to do as it executes the search. It's going to bring back these list of sessions. From this list of sessions that come back, I'm able to kind of manipulate and interact with them. So as this kind of paints forward, and you can see this is just on a default session list template, which is showing me times, durations, login IDs. I can customize and build these various segments. So as I was talking about kind of marketing and what was available previously, what this is going to do is this is going to basically show a score across that session from a marketing perspective. And that's where we get into our behavior and mid-funnel marketing, where I can get much more detailed into a follow-up call. You can see this session list template is showing the number of hits, various icons for all the events that occurred, and I can make them displayable or not, showing where they are as scoring within that funnel in that email address. I'll actually flip this down and I'll expose a struggle, excuse me, a struggle session list template. And as you're sitting here, this kind of helps me kind of slice and dice and pivot down what I need to. This is kind of that last error message that I saw within that session, where I could segment, I could drill in this from reports, or I can kind of expose this down below where, you know, I can sit here and replay these. Now, any of these events that occur, and from that event standpoint, where we've added them into basically reports get added up to dashboards. What I want you to see, and there's multiple reports in here. If I go under events and I say manage events, so what's very, very interesting about that, the concept of an event and how we're tracking it so near real time, we can set up alerts based on these events. And this guy right here, we've named him. We've basically said this alert type is a maximum. And I want you to look at something. We can do counts, means, mins, maximums, ratios. And I'll actually just even set up a new one while we're here. Test demo. And I'm actually going to set him as a count. I'm going to select my event. And I'm just going to just select capturing a SKU number through here. And what this is doing is this is saying, here is my threshold. My threshold is if this event fires more than 10 times in a 30-minute interval, so this is an active 30-minute window, it's going to basically trip an alert. Or I can have warnings where if it hits up to 5 times in basically that 30-minute interval, it will trip that alert. And keep in mind where you have this reset interval, this is so you're not getting bombarded or overwhelmed with notifications. So it will wait that 10 minutes before it sends you a secondary notification if the issue still occurs. Now, notifications, you can sit here and you can write basically event logs. You can write to basically this is a Windows backend, the Windows event log. We can send emails. We can actually execute kind of scripts and kick off shell commands. We can send SNMP traps to tie this into like a network operations center with all the rest of your monitoring tools. As we sit here and we talk about email, we're also able to do SMS and text, etc. through here. We can set up templates, but we can also do blackout notifications. When an alert comes in and says this issue occurred, it actually, you click on that alert and it brings you directly into the portal, and it brings you into essentially a search of all of the people that had this issue. So now you can start re-engaging, I would say delayed engagement, resolving their issue, being able to notify them, tell them, I'm sorry for this issue, please try again, etc. So from a very, very high level, from a Discover standpoint, all we're doing is we're collecting data from a digital channel. This digital channel I'm showing you right here is a website. We also have software development kits, where this software development kit here would be JavaScript based, but we have software development kits for native applications, Android, iOS, that would collect kind of the same level of detail. The data is flowing into the system near real time. As it comes in, we're able to take actions on that data, kind of slice it, dice it up, etc., exposing it in dashboards. With those dashboards, it can kind of be anything. The sky is the limit, where I was showing you a dashboard previously focused on opening an account. Here's an aspect of a dashboard focused on basically that mid-funnel or marketing campaigns, where I'm looking at these various things that come through and scoring the behaviors, so I know where they are in this funnel and how to re-engage them. We also have dashboards out here. Let's see. In this environment, I only have a handful, but there's stuff where we get into more APM space and performance, where we're able to collect client-side interactions. Now, one last thing is, you saw me search. When I do search through here from the reports, it's going to create a segment. And with these segments that are created, and I'll kind of drill into one of these previously that I searched for. And I'm going to say view the session list. And this is the sessions that I had. With this segment, I can postpone expiration. I can share this. This is another way that I can collaborate and interact with other people. When I drill in and I look at this list, I wanted to come directly into this session because I really started playing with that loan application process in through here, filling in various form fields. And what I wanted to show you was form analytics and how form analytics kind of works within the solution, where I showed you a high level of kind of a heat map. And within all these form fields where I can say, oh, first name, last name, etc., I'm going to expose form analytics on top of this. Now, each one of these form fields, it's showing me whether I checked on this box or I skipped it. And you can see as I go through, it's highlighting these various form fields, and this is showing it as an aggregate level. I can drill down in and view the completed or abandoned sessions, people that didn't interact with these fields. I also have sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. I also have dwell time. So what was the average time that it took for them to interact with these various fields across the board, or aspects of repeats? And keep in mind, you know, as we said, everything's drilled down into manipulation. I can change date ranges. I can get into filtering. The really neat thing around kind of this form analytics and heat maps, everything from that comes completely out of box. And all of these dashboards that I'm showing you, what makes Discover so unique and such a fast time to value is each and every one of these dashboards. I can come in and manage one of these dashboards. I can take him and export him out. So I'll say this guy right here, report templates, and I'm going to say export, and he's going to download directly to my machine. From that same standpoint, I'll say, I'm going to save him here in my downloads. I could come back in here and say import into any new environment. Does not matter. Basically, select this dashboard that I just brought out, say, okay. And what this does is this is a way where it's creating this dashboard, the reports, and more importantly, the events underneath it. So this is a way that we can kind of export, make standardized kind of templates and be able to kind of import them into customers or make them industry specific standards. Or all of this reporting is 100% customizable. So those are things I kind of wanted to show. I did not get into aspects of exporting data and pushing this out, where if I talk about kind of configuring jobs, I can basically, it's the same aspect as if I search, except instead of bringing these sessions back for replay, we're extracting them out. We can basically put them in a data format or a log file format. The data format allows us to basically, we provide Oracle and SQL database schemas for online, offline reporting and bringing things together. A log file format allows me to structure and manipulate that log. And I have a lot of customers that are doing customized ML algorithms out of here, where they're taking those log files to then split them, do like a 70-30 split, do a train set and a test set, and then start leveraging and pushing this data out. Session archiving is something which is more akin to insurance industries. And if I, oh, it's not installed on this instance, but if I did have this installed, what it allows me to do is take an individual session where, as I'm sitting here and I'm replaying this session, I can basically email this session to someone else. I can copy a link to it. I can come in here and I can annotate and add notes underneath this session where other people could search by those annotations. But on the same aspect, I can save this session and download it to my machine. And that's essentially a DCA file. When I'm talking about kind of this extraction here, what that does is it takes that individual DCA file and it wraps it within a PDF wrapper. And the reason why we wrap it within a PDF wrapper is so we can apply a digital signature to it and say that this has never changed. So now the session can become a legal entity in a court of law. Also, with that PDF wrapper, there's a bunch of indexes that come in place that I can populate that makes searching and finding these sessions much easier. So larger, I would say, insurance companies, whether it's like automotive insurance or maybe even some retail companies with people buying products in space, when people actually purchase their product and the session is successful, they'll PDF and extract it so that way they can hold it essentially indefinitely. So I guess that kind of wraps up. I guess one last thing I should probably specify, being federal government, is when I come through here and I talk about managing the portal and coming in for user administration, we have a concept of users and groups. And depending on this user that you select, this user, you have various, I guess, permissions, aspects of where you set them up. But these users get assigned, these individual users get assigned to groups. From a group level, as you notice, I have, when I'm interacting, I have dashboards, events, sessions, reports, etc. You can manipulate this profile where I'll just say public, and I'm going to say profile, menu profile. And here is, I can basically select off or on what I want them to be able to see and manipulate this down. So you can use individual users, groups, to kind of segment and limit what people can see. And then there's also ways that I can apply privacy on top of sessions before replay to further redact information where you can capture it, but individuals on certain groups can't see it. An example, I used to work for a large online bank, and we would basically have our call center agents that would come in and they would be able to search based on account number, based on a login ID, but they were not ever able to see that via replay. And we would strip that out getting into the aspects of permissions that are available through here. And then the last thing that I should probably also point out is there's a very, very large auditing aspect on the back of here where everything that we're doing is basically collected, logged, manipulated, where I can sit here and go through and look at kind of this audit aspect and my user activity, come out here and start manipulating, going further down in as to what people did, generate group by users, by groups, and start generating these reports. And all of these reporting can then be exported out. I think that's about it.